is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 85. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E, a.k.a. Lee James, a.k.a. Sebastian Drew Easy, a.k.a. Eastradamus, a.k.a. Pap E.O. Daniel, a.k.a. The Fashionista, a.k.a. Chili Willie, a.k.a. Joe E. Chestnut, a.k.a. Eon Stonkel. E sitting here on a Sunday evening, Loons and Sounders wrapping up as we speak. Of course, the Sounders, our opponent this coming Wednesday. But I think we are still, I don't know about you, I'm still tired, a little sore from our trip up to Frisco yesterday. We'll obviously recap that match. We'll preview the Seattle match. We'll talk Austin FC 2, last business day. We'll talk the bets, all that good stuff. But how you feeling here today? It was a late night last night.
Yeah, I mean, I've been better for sure. Don't really know what else to say other than fuck. Just brutal. Yeah, but
I thought something was going to follow that fuck. I thought it was going to be like fuck, like someone or something, or no, just fuck.
No, yeah, just that. I think I was just going to end my show with that right there, let you do this one solo. And just, I mean, what else can you really say? I guess one positive is that Seattle's playing right now in regard to good things going on with Austin. So we'll take that, I suppose.
Yeah, and currently looks like about 10 minutes to go in that one. Tied up at 1 apiece currently, which I think is probably the best result for us at this point. Either that or a Seattle win here with these two teams. Just in terms of our playoff hopes. But yeah, last night Austin FC goes down, and when they say at the death, I don't think we've experienced one like that in our 2.5 plus years of Austin FC fandom. We'll get into it here, but I guess anything off the top before we take a look at the lineup here, E?
Shout out Lamurga. They're awesome. That was really just great to be with them and in the supporters section there. And, we really owned that stadium for 96 minutes and 50 seconds. So shout out to them, all the capos, just the really great energy. I saw some dude like teaching some young girl sign language and stuff for the chants. And I was like, man, like that's really great. I hope we don't lose.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to everybody who traveled, because not only was there, of course, a packed in and loud and sweaty section over there in the corner where we were, but lots of green littering the rest of the stadium too, noticeable in some sections to be sure. And man, I would say shout out to Iron Verde, right? Yes. Came up to us, said what's up. That was dope. And, seeing all of our other friends out there, until the last 10 seconds, I think it was a pretty good trip.
Yeah, it was a blast. Shout out to everyone who tagged us in some very unflattering photos on television. Those were some much needed laughs on the car ride home for me. Seeing myself just look fucking hot and
miserable.
Oh man, they said the camera adds 15 pounds there, and I wasn't looking. I don't think I was looking my best in those shots, but it gave me a nice little laugh. So shout out to everybody there.
Yeah, I know you were, as I was driving us home. I don't know where we were on I-35, but you continued to show me just zoomed in pictures of me looking terrible. So I appreciate you for that. Let's go ahead and get into this. Yeah,
all right. We've got the fun out of the way.
No more fun allowed. Rest of the way.
Talked about the positives. Let's relive this pain.
Yeah. So I guess we can go back to Thursday real quick. Press availability. We had heard that it was going to be Memo Rodriguez, and then all of a sudden they switched to Seba, came out there. And apparently he talked for under 5 minutes. It didn't say much, but it was good to at least see him get up there in front of the cameras and take some questions. But the more important context out of the press availability on Thursday was that Josh Wolf said that Leo Väisänen was probably a week or two away. And Josh Wolf lied. And I think a lot of people would say, that's what he always does. But Leo Väisänen, when we get the lineup on Saturday, on the bench, and with Kip Keller, I guess I skipped over the Friday part of that. Kip Keller played for Austin FC too. So that was a little bit of a head scratcher. I think I won't speak for you. I definitely thought, oh God, we're going to go with like Alex being the only backup center back option again. But then seeing Leo in the team on Saturday, I think both of us, we were getting a little bite to eat before the match. And both of us kind of agreed, Leo's got to be ready for some minutes here if he's active.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kippy getting the start for FC Toe probably should have tipped the hat, little knowledge there that Leo was ready to go. Because I, especially after Josh's comments where he said we need to get Alex back in the midfield, I was under no pretense that we were going to be going with Alex as the backup primary center back into Frisco there. So that's great news. We need him back desperately. So I'm excited for that. In regard to the lineup, you get Rigoni, Seba in that, we think it was more of a false nine, or, he's playing that true nine there.
I mean, kind of, I don't know. I just think he's an undersized 9 last night. And obviously he has the freedom, right, to pretty much float wherever he wants when we have the ball.
Bogart
and I guess
that he's like a 9.5. Bogart said it really nicely that he's like a 9.5. He can really kind of play in between there. But there was no Seba to get Seba the ball. So that was unfortunate.
Yeah. And I guess another part of that injury report, when the official report came out Saturday morning, Maxi Arruti was listed questionable. And then I think he promptly posted an Instagram post of him in his car in Austin. So it was like, okay, well, he's out. And
then no G couldn't start. He's clearly still on some sort of minutes restriction. Hopefully that's lifted for Wednesday. But not being able to obviously start G, which we would have wanted. And man, that would have been a lineup that I could have been really excited about. Like I was already pretty excited about this lineup because I was really ready and welcoming Alex back into the midfield there. And then we had to bump Owen up to the kind of the 10 spot. And
he was.
It just didn't pan out because we didn't get the chances that we created in St. Louis. Now, granted, the games were much different, but the chance creation was just not there.
Well, and speaking of lineups on the other side, a couple hours before the match, you get the news that Jesus Ferreira is out. And that is, we'll take it, man. Like we need every break we can get at this point. And so that, I guess, let's go ahead and get into it because I think we can talk about some of the minutes restrictions that we perceived throughout this match as we go. I guess the last thing on the lineup, I saw some people, I don't remember where, but speculating that, maybe this means is Alex Ring going to be at the 10? Like, guys, no. Come on. No. It's Owen Wolf. And so I think with Ferreira out of there for Dallas, they came out pretty conservative. And on the other side, you saw Austin being a little bit more conservative defensively and kind of packing it into the middle. They were not pressing the center backs high. And it looked like the press trigger was not dissimilar to what St. Louis did to us the previous week. And so I guess my best guess, playing a manager in the stands there is that the idea behind that change defensively is to eliminate some of the attempts for Dallas to beat us up the middle the way that we got burned so many times against St. Louis, and just minimizing the threat. There's still speed out there for this Dallas team. And so I thought, at least until the red card, that the defensive alignment and the changes with the way that they were pressing and trying to force Dallas to create here, I thought it worked because, Austin didn't generate a ton either, but they gave up hardly anything, at least until the red.
Yeah, Dallas definitely played into their strengths, and that's their defense. And when you got the Jesus news that he wasn't going to be in, they leaned into it even more, and they were playing very conservatively, very defensively. In regard to your little assessment there with trying to take away the middle, I feel like that threat is somewhat neutralized when Jesus is not on the pitch for them. Like outside Kamungo, who's got 3 goals, they don't have anyone over 2, right? Or Velasco's got 3, but with no Jesus Ferreira there, like the way that he can make those runs behind the center backs, I feel like was basically mitigated when he wasn't on the roster.
So do you think that was a part of the game plan that was installed obviously over the last, 2-3 days of practice here in the middle of the week, and then they just kind of stuck with it even though he wasn't out there?
Yeah, it could have been for sure. As soon as that news breaks, so I don't think you're going to, just dump the whole script and try to change things on the fly like that, especially if you had felt pretty confident in it. And it looked defensively, even though they didn't have a very threatening lineup out there, like you said, we played well up until the red card and the game changes entirely.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it here. 3rd minute, Emmy wins a corner here, and then his delivery on that corner is way short and just like poor. It was bad. And I thought in that sense, he had a bad game because I didn't think his set piece service I don't think you could call it acceptable. He did have a couple deliveries that were more dangerous. And I think we'll see those along the way here, but it just kind of started a theme on the night, whether it was Rigoni or anybody else taking a free kick or a corner or anything like that. It just wasn't our best night in terms of that service. 3 minutes later, there was another corner one off an Ethan Finley cross that got blocked out. And this was one of Emmy's better deliveries from a corner on the night because it found Matt Hedges' head there, but he wasn't really able to make significant contact, and it went out for a goal kick. And I think sorry, go ahead, E.
This is where we really are going to miss Diego. This is an aspect, a void that has been created from that trade, which we outlined the positives and the negatives of it. This is a huge component because we were generating a lot of great looks on set pieces, corners, fouls in particular. And Emmy, look, he hasn't been able to deliver consistent balls into the threatening zones when we get these pieces. And it shows up there on that first corner by him. But I do want to say that I particularly liked the way we were getting him into space with crossfield longer balls. Like he was always on the run there, and that was really great and exciting. I was like, okay, we're opening this game up a little bit because, again, they came out conservative. And we were able to get over the top with some balls like that. And we had, you generate 2 corners right away. Got to be feeling pretty good.
When you mentioned Diego, did you see why he didn't play for the Galaxy last night?
No, I didn't. What happened?
Dude, so I guess I didn't really ever think that this could happen in soccer, but like in hoops, right? If you put somebody's number wrong in the book, you get a T. Or that you get the administrative tech there, just one shot. Yeah. But the Galaxy had his number wrong in the book. And I guess in soccer, like you can't, there's no like, I guess you could get like an administrative yellow to the bench or something like that. I guess that didn't happen. He just wasn't able to play because they had his number wrong in the score sheet.
God.
So the Diego, they didn't need him luckily last night for them. They got the win, but his Galaxy debut, I guess, is going to have to wait.
That is wild. Holy shit. Someone's getting in trouble.
Could you imagine if that happened while he was here? What people would say?
Actually, no, I cannot. It would be so bad.
Oh man. Okay. I think this is maybe a little bit indicative of how just boring the first half was, because it was exciting to be there and be amongst everybody and all that. It's always exciting being at the game, no matter what's really going on, but nothing here in my notes till the 22nd minute here, where Dallas is kind of building in the offensive half. Giovanni Jesus whips in across from like 15 yards outside the 18 on the right, kind of right there in front of us. Matt Hedges misses the clearing header, and then Jesus Jimenez kind of gets his boot to it around Julio, and he skies it over the net, but it wasn't great to see like whiff from Matt and then Julio getting beat to another ball. I know it didn't end up challenging Brad, but like come on, man. Like, let's be in the right spot here.
Yeah, in regard to the threatening chances in this game, these were like the real ones to start it. And couple just, I mean, again, the quality of player that they had out there was not anything to, write home about, and doesn't get a good boot to this and sails away. But still, not great, not what you want to see, because again, it's not about the result of that play necessarily. It's about making the correct play in the first place.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned that they were trying to get Emmy free down that left side off this goal kick. You get some nice combination play on that left side from Ring and Johnny G, and then eventually on to Rigoni. And this is where Owen is crashing the top of the box. And Rigoni, I thought, made a great read here. Picks his head up, picks out 33 there at the top of the box, plays a nice little cross on the ground. And I thought it was a poor touch by Owen, or a poor read. Like, I know it's tough. Like, that ball's coming at you quick. You're trying to make reads in the heat of the moment. But again, this is hindsight. And I guess we'll talk about plenty of Captain Hindsight was all over Frisco last night and all over social media. But I think if he opens up his body here to receive this pass and kind of lets it, carries the momentum of that pass with his body towards the right, I think he can get a cleaner shot off here. Takes a tough touch, tries to take a dribble to his left, and his shot gets blocked. But it was again one of the better chances that Austin created in the first half right there.
Yeah, and look, like, there's plays that happen in the second half where we don't have guys forward in that position of the true 9 striker who's up there, because Seba's doing a lot of different things out there on the pitch. So this trail was open. Like, that was where these balls needed to be delivered. And unfortunately, it's just Frisco had the right place, right time. I don't remember who was in front of Owen there. He didn't really have a chance to one-time this. So bad touch and deflection. And again, it's not really, nothing for Paz to do there.
Yeah. 1 minute later, I guess it was just kind of back and forth here, right in the middle, like 22nd through 24th minute. Jesus gets another cross in from right to left, and Nick Lima misses the chance to kind of clear it or control it, like just kind of whiffs on it. Dallas was able to cross it in again, right to the head of Kamongo. And his headed chance kind of goes off his own teammate, falls to the feet of Matt Hedges, who, shades of Johan Romagna in 2020, takes the ball like all the way to midfield, gets it out to Finley, continues his run, and like nothing ultimately came of that. But it was certainly an exciting moment to see Matt, take off like that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into the goal here a little later, but I thought he played well. He played aggressively. He played committed. He was in it. He wanted to have a good showing there back in Frisco.
Yeah. So I didn't actually see what happened here with Giovanni Jesus, but he goes down, and the official goes ahead, blows the hydration break, and so Ima Tuamasi comes in for Giovanni Jesus. So early injury substitution there for FC Dallas. 3 minutes later, Owen wins a free kick on the right, and I only put this down because I thought Rigoni's delivery here might have been his worst on the night. We were probably 18 yards out, like right of the box there, kind of on that near sideline from the broadcast angle. And we've got everybody up there for this set piece, and he doesn't make it over the first defender. And it's just inexcusable in the position that you're in on this team. Not just because of the DP tag and the salary, man. It's because of his talent level and the role he has now as the guy who's taking all of the dead ball free kicks. Like, you have to be better.
He has to be better. The DP tag has just been a curse for him. He's so clearly not a DP level player that a good MLS team has, but he's not a bad MLS player. I would take the blessing and curse of getting $2.2 million to have the DP label slapped on me. But still, at the same time, he just clearly does not perform up to that expectation of what you need from a DP in order to be a really good team. And this shit is not even in the flow of the game. You can take a breath, my brother. You can say a prayer, whatever you want to do here to get yourself fucking ready to give us something you got to be able to do. And just fucking disappointing. It's like really disappointing because, like you said, we're kind of big up there now with Hedges up there in the air, with Julio up there. Like, we're kind of large up there now, and just fuck.
Yeah. Well, and then the Fs grow louder because in the next minute, Seba goes down holding his ankle. Trainers come out, game stops for a few minutes. Ultimately, he continues, but didn't look great. I mean, you never feel good. You're always holding your breath when number 10 takes a seat. 42nd minute here. Austin got the ball in the final third, kind of working it around, and ultimately it comes to Lima there on the right, and he creates space for himself to get a cross in there. And the cross is headed out by Nkosi Tafari to force a corner. And then this is where I thought Emi's corner got to a really dangerous area, kind of right by that near post, coming from the left side of the area. But there were no Austin players able to like make it into the dangerous area where, like, I don't know, man. Like I know we're dumping on Emi for a lot of the poor service that he had last night. I find it hard to believe where he aimed that ball that there wasn't somebody supposed to be there in that moment. So it seemed to me, kind of wrapping up this first half in terms of the set pieces, that we were just disconnected, whether it was poor service or guys not executing. It wasn't great. But again, we're also not giving up hardly anything on the other end. And that played into the idea that this was a boring first half.
Yeah, boring first half, and we're 0-0 at half, and shit, we needed 1 point to get the Copa, so I was okay with that. And again, like, it's nothing. Winning games on the road in this league is challenging. It is difficult. So to go in there and get a point would have been awesome, and I felt encouraged. I texted RB. I was like, "Oh, dude, we're gonna do this. Like, we're opening this game up. Eventually, it's gonna get there because." On their offensive side of the ball, they weren't generating anything. And then you get the quick injury sub for an attacker, as well as, Kamungo's about to come out. And it's like, okay, like they just want to get a point too. So frustrating, but still, I mean, still encouraged because I felt like we were the better team in the first half, all things considered, defensively, with some chances, but still. It just didn't translate to a good look for us. Yeah.
So then before the half comes to a close here, 44th minute, Alex crosses it over to Finley on the right side of the 18. And that cross doesn't quite make it to Ethan. But then Dallas trying to clear it out. Jose Martinez kind of whiffs his clearance, and Lima gets on the loose ball right at the edge of the area and blasts a shot. But it goes wide left and really wasn't a threatening chance. And then the more important thing here at the end, 45th minute, Alan Velasco gets away from Dani, kind of dueling in the midfield there, and Dani takes him down from behind outside the area, earning a yellow card. And that free kick was ultimately sent over the goal, but the yellow card was the important infraction there. And I guess we'll just get to that here in a minute. You mentioned Kamungo was about to come out. He comes out at half. Eugene Ansa comes in for him. So good for us again. Like, we'll take it. Bernard Kamungo had to come out at half. 49th minute here, building out of the back. I thought it was a good progressive pass right through the middle here from Matt Hedges to Seba, who was checking back. And Seba flicks that pass on, like, probably a little element of luck to this, but certainly some skill as well. And just flicks it right to Alex Ring, who's taken off up the field. He slides it out to Emi on the left. And Emi puts in a cross, and Tumasi does a great job to extend his leg and deflect this down to right where, like, Martin Paz can pick it up, because we have runners in the box there. So I thought it was a good defensive play by Tumasi, and I think Emi can do better to not get his cross deflected.
Yeah, I agree. Again, they played into their strengths on the defensive side of the ball, and Tumasi, and I always get the R and the F mixed up. And is it
Tafari?
Tafari. I always get them switched. I was thinking the other way around. So, two good players and a good play by him, and some positives here. I really like the way Alex looked. I really liked the way that he was playing with Johnny G on that side of the ball. I liked how he was passing the ball and getting it to Seba. And again, he always brings that toughness, that grit that we need. And pairing him with Dani, that gives us a nice little nasty in the middle, which ends up being a little too nasty. Up here. But yeah, encouraging stuff there. And unfortunately, again, nothing going our way.
Yep.
Outside of the substitutions.
Well, 50th minute here, though. So, like, right after this play, I think we were gaining some momentum here because there was some good combo play on the right between Owen and Nick Lima, and then help arriving after that. Owen puts a cross in that's cleared out for a corner by Tumasi on the back post. That corner is played short and swung around to Lima, who's kind of left center of goal outside the box. His service in, like, it wasn't great, but Austin was able to stay on it, and Matt Hedges heads it down, and Ethan Finley tries a bike, and like the technique on the bicycle kick attempt was pretty good, but it goes, I don't know, 6-7 feet wide left of the target. But it was an exciting moment.
Cool. Yeah, it looked cool as shit. The dude behind me goes, if he had made that, I would have taken all of my clothes off. And I was like, oh, shit.
55th minute here. Again, Dallas helping us out with some momentum at this point, giving it away right in front of the 18. Rigoni steps in front of a pass, a little lazy outlet pass there by Martin Pass. And he gets it to Ring, and he gets it to Owen, who takes a touch and then rips a shot, but it goes right at Martin Pass. And then I think he doesn't control it. He just kind of boops it out of there, and Ethan Finley gets onto the rebound, and he takes a heavy touch, and it goes out across the end line. But again, man, to this point, 55 minutes in, again, Dallas did have a couple half chances, I guess you could say. But Austin is 100% the team in control of this match and getting the better chances, especially to start the second half.
Yeah, we came out of that locker room ready to go. Like we were delivering the balls that we needed to get some good looks here. And it's just the execution at the end that has just continued to lack. Great rip by Ethan there. I did love seeing that. And then Owen's got to be better with that, man. You know, you can't put that. You're going to have a hard time beating Pass anyway, but you definitely can't put it right on him. Yeah. And the heavy touch by Ethan, just going a little too quick there. I don't know if it had a little spin on the ball, but just unfortunate again.
Yeah. Well, I think Owen has looked, because again, we talked about the touch that he had that wasn't great in the first half when he got into the area. He's pretty skittish when he gets into that final third. And I think that certainly there's a lot of things that any 18-year-old professional can work on in their game, but I think especially if he's going to be in this, you know, in a situation where Austin FC is shorthanded and Owen Wolf is playing at the 10, you can't be skittish. Like, you have to improve that area of your game. And maybe some of the, you know, that he's played more in the defensive half of the midfield this season. Maybe that's stunted some of that potential development in that, you know, those final moments of the attack. But it's just something, it's certainly a trend of his, you know, attacking play over the last few months.
Yeah, he looks way more comfortable playing defense. And he does, you know, having that little dose of lethality in the final third there where you can, you know, put something home. I think most of his goals have come from outside the 18.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he only has 2 goals, right, this season?
Well, I'm just saying every goal, like, aren't both of them 8 from outside the 18? Like, longer shots?
To be honest, I don't remember what his second goal was. Obviously, the RSL banger.
Yeah.
But he has 2, right? Yeah, so good podcasting here.
Even his men's national team goal was outside the 18.
Yeah, that was a little dribbler. He's only got the 1 goal this year.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't know if he has more than 2 assists, because I'm looking at FBref right now, and we know that they don't take into account the hockey assists that the league does. But yeah, just the 1 goal. I think, again, highlights his struggles because he's had more than a few attempts.
Exactly. And look, you can't have your 10 have hesitation in those spots. It has to be balls delivered. I know where it's going. I know I'm putting a shot. So tough night for Owen. And you know, moving forward, if we're fully healthy, I think Alex has earned the right to being that starting lineup over him, especially if Owen is not delivering in that final third, and Alex can bring the leadership that we've been lacking, the toughness, the tenacity. So, a tough one for him. I think he'll bounce back, and he might be better suited in a sub role. He has been put thrust into this starting lineup. I don't think we were going into the season being like, all right, he's going to start 90% of our games here.
I doubt it.
So it's like it could be a better situation for him to be rotated. And yeah, just fuck, man.
He's also played. I think he could be wearing down. Young kid. Almost 1,400 league minutes this year. All the minutes that he's played in the external competitions, including the World Cup, which is on top of any minutes that he would have in his duties here as an Austin FC player.
It's a long season, man. It's a fucking grind.
But I'll fucking tell you this: I think we're going to see Alex Ring and Owen Wolf in the midfield on Wednesday. We'll see.
Lock it in.
56th minute here. Jesus Jimenez took down Ethan Finley from behind and gets a yellow card. Deserved, I think, there. Rigoni's free kick, not a bad one here. Nearly found Julio, who was alone at the back post. But Julio wasn't able to stretch out enough to get a touch. Probably a little bit of both there. Maybe the pass a little bit too long. Julio not quite able to get to it. 58th minute, you see a double change here for Dallas. O'Brien and the debut of Ilara Mendy in there for Jimenez and Sebastian Lletget, who I did not notice on the pitch once. No. Sebastian Lletget. When they announced him coming out, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
60th minute here. Alan Velasco crosses to Ansa, who jukes Lima, opening some space for himself there on the left inside the 18, takes a shot. Brad Stuver with a huge save, gets a fingertip or two onto it, pushing it out for a corner and preserving the clean sheet for now. That ensuing corner kind of bounced around, and man, Stuver got fucking fouled right here. I don't understand with the way that officials, not just these PRO officials, but around the world, protect goalkeepers, how this was not called.
It's 100% a foul. I don't understand how it wasn't called either. And it's not like Brad fucking Stuver's going to be out there flopping.
Yeah. And I was wondering too, like, because they do get an offensive call. Yeah.
I forgot about there was a fucking flop call in that game on us.
Yeah, on Owen. They called the handball. Yeah.
That's two.
Yeah.
That's two on it. Two.
Yeah, man, there was an offensive rebound there, another shot by Dallas. Like, I was wondering if that goes in, can they review it for a foul? Because if it would have gone in, then it should not have counted. Just the way. Yeah, well. 62nd minute here. You get a double change. Will Bruin and Memo Rodriguez come in for Alex Ring and Emi Rigoni. And just real quick before we talk about that, because I want to wrap all this up into one discussion here. 5 minutes after that, you get Dani fouling, I think, Jose Martinez on a loose ball in front of our own 18 there. And the foul's delayed. The advantage is played. And Austin goes the other way. And then on the dead ball, a second yellow, and of course the subsequent red card is shown to Dani, so he's sent off. I think on the replay, I think it's absolutely a yellow. And I think regardless, how about you stay on your feet, man, when you're on a yellow? And obviously this changes everything. Austin moved at that point to a 4-4-1, and they do adjust a little bit later to a 5-3-1, but it's a stupid fucking foul when you're on a yellow card and when you're that important to your team. And this is his third red, I think. Got two last year, the RSL one. And then, of course, the Montreal one, which I think the Montreal one was probably the dumbest of the three. But, I mean, and the kid has also missed how many games for yellow card accumulation? And, like, this is the biggest, I think the most obvious facet of Dani's game where he has to improve right now. It's his mental, man. And we've talked about it so much even throughout this season alone where he hasn't gotten a red card yet, but like that it's on the scouting report. These teams are trying to be physical with you and get into your head, partially because you're one of, if not the most talented player for Austin on most nights. But the fact that we can all see that these teams get in your head. So they're going to keep doing it, man. And like, for me, he bears the brunt of responsibility for this result because you cannot do that to your team. And he continues to do it.
It's a self-inflicted wound that does not need to happen. Look, Dani is probably after 10, my favorite player on the team. I absolutely love him. I love his game. And part of what makes him so special is that pugnaciousness, that tenacity, that edge that he brings, because he has to bring that. He's a smaller guy, and he brings it every time, and he's down to go man to man, mano y mano. Don't care who you are. Like, let's do this. But when you're not able to control that and it gets the better of you, then it starts to become a liability. And it has become a liability way too often with him. And look, like, I know that he probably has aspirations of playing in bigger leagues, and I think that is an achievable goal for you. You do that shit over there, they can replace you really easily. We can't. Yeah. We can't. Like, they sure as hell can, and he deserves better than that. Like, and he's a better player than that. You have to stay on your feet here. And anyway, this play, you can see the frustration building on him from these last two plays here. He's dribbling the ball too much. He's got to get it off his foot. The other guy's being physical with him. He continues to allow that other dude to be physical with him, other than just dumping the ball off. He gets fouled. And then, like, the next play, he's doing some shit like this. And it's like, bro, you just can't do it, because right at that moment, Dallas said, okay, let's go for this now. And the game just gets completely turned on its head. And now he's not going to be available for Wednesday, baby. I mean, we can't fucking be given games. Like, we can't afford to do this. This is the playoff run. We are in the fight of our young franchise's life right now to make the fucking playoffs. And now you're about to miss this second game, and you mostly cost us this game by not being able to stay on your feet and keep your fucking cool. And he's 23. I can't imagine what it feels like to be as good as what he does at 23 years old and everything that comes along with it. Yeah. But for his sake, for his career, he has to clean it up. He has to. Yep. And I think he will. And look, I thought about it from my own personal experiences. How many players have come up to you when they're on 4 fouls and you're trying to figure out if you're going to take them out of the game? They go, coach, I'm good. I'll play smart, coach. Because they've talked to Dani, at the facility. Hey, man, you can't be doing that. Like, hey, you can't be getting these yellows. Coach, I'm smart. I'll take care of it. Like, I'll reel it in. So, and as a player of his caliber, you deserve to have that rapport with your coach where he can trust you. I can stay on my feet here. And we almost got away with it.
Yeah. Well, so I wanted to, because of course we joked in the stands when he got the red card. I think you said to me, it was like, I wonder how people are going to blame the coach for that. Yeah. And I kind of laughed it off, but then sure enough, after the match, the prevailing takes from the same people, right? Were of course, well, they should have subbed Dani out. It's on Josh because he should have subbed Dani out with a yellow, which is a fucking stupid fucking take. It's moronic, because if you're gonna have this take now, where were you? Home against the Rapids. Where were you? Home against San Jose. Where were you? On the road against Seattle. Where were you? Home against the Dynamo. Where were you? Road against Minnesota. All yellow cards for Dani. Where was your fucking take about, we didn't take Dani out?
Dani can't do it, man. He just can't do it.
Well, and so, and of course, then it's also like, we should have left Alex Ring on the field instead. And Ring, also coming back from injury, subbed out at the same time as Rigoni. Remember when those guys were on 30-minute limits the week before? You think they went from 30 to 90 in the span of 5 days? And not even that game in a vacuum, E. We play on fucking Wednesday.
Yeah.
We have to rotate some.
Yeah.
Or else we're going to lose on Wednesday for sure if you leave all these guys out here.
Yeah, and it was 103.
And to be honest, man, the rest of the way after the red, there's not a ton of notable action, because I thought the guys on the pitch did a pretty darn good job of adjusting and limiting what Dallas was trying to do then, because then the script flips where, like, Dallas was very clearly, for the first 2/3 of this game, playing for a draw. At least that's the way that I think both of us read it. with Jesus out and then the subsequent injury substitutions that they had.
I mean, when they take Kamungo out, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like they're just going to pack it in. But, yeah, it all changes right here. Like the whole fucking game changes. And this could be a play that changes the entire course of our season.
Yeah. And you get a double sub here in the 77th. You get Johan and Lundqvist in for Ethan Finley and Owen Wolf. And then in the 85th, you get Zardes in there for Driussi, who had looked like he was injured, at least to us. He was grabbing his groin area and kind of standing there for I don't know, 20, 30 seconds right before he gets subbed off. Luckily in the postgame, coach did confirm that he wasn't injured, just exhausted.
And yeah, that's the other thing is he didn't score. He didn't really have a great impact on this game, but he was all over the place. He was busting his ass out there, and he was definitely tired. And yeah, like you said, the dudes adjust. We try our hardest to fucking hold on to this point. You know, like we're stalling in the corner. We're doing whatever we can to get these balls out. And man, it was always just looming kind of in the back of my mind. Mm-hmm. And and eventually it comes to fruition.
Well, I guess first of all, we get 7 minutes of stoppage added on, which we were discussing before the number went up. I think I said, I think it's 5, 6 is not crazy. And 7 comes out, and I saw a couple other folks discussing too, and they were saying, or like going back in some chats, right, and rereading what folks were saying. 5 and 6 was the number that was out there. So I don't know where we got 7 from. But ultimately, I'm not blaming that for the loss either, because you still should have seen this out. 6th minute of stoppage here off a Stuver goal kick. The ball gets kind of pinged around in the midfield, and Austin comes out with it with some space because Memo got onto the loose ball here. And he charges forward. I honestly thought he could have taken another touch and just taken the shot himself, but slows it up, picks out a trailing John Gallagher coming in on the right. And Gally takes a shot, which is deflected by Tafari and like up and over Martin Paz and hits the crossbar and bounces back out. And then Austin gets back onto it. And Lundqvist takes it to the corner and unable to win a foul or a throw or a corner. And Dallas gets a goal kick, put it back into play quickly, of course, because the time is running out. They end up winning a throw on the right after progressing the ball up, and it had gotten cleared out by, I believe, Johan Valencia. They play the throw really quickly to Marco Farfan. He puts in a cross, and just no-look header by Nkosi Tafari gets past Stuver, who gets a mid on it. And to be honest, I don't know if Brad should have kept that out or not. It would have been a really nice save if he got it, but I'm not a goalkeeper expert, so I don't know. I don't know if you have thoughts on that, but literally 10 seconds left in the match, and take the L.
Yep. No look header.
Yeah.
I don't think Brad could have saved that. I don't think he could have anticipated it coming off the back of his head like that. There's both of our center backs are guarding this man. Both of them. Yeah. I don't know what happens to Hedges if he just didn't have anything left in the legs. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy to jump with Tafari.
Tafari? I think I might not even be saying that right, but
it's like he's clearly super athletic. He gets up, but still, I
think it's tough because I guess, is it fair to say that was the best service on the night from either team? Because it goes whether Farfan intended to put it right on Tafari's dome or not, he did. Yeah. I think it was a little bit too high for Hedges to get there, and I understand that Julio can try to come up and battle with him for that, but I think you're also risking a pen there if you get too physical.
I agree.
So I think at least a portion of it, you just have to kind of credit the offense and then some luck that Dallas had there.
Yep, some of just soccer fuckery.
Yeah, man. I know we walked out of there just saying, I think I said, fuck soccer, I hate this sport at one point. Oh man, just a fucking beating.
It was brutal. Just absolutely gutted. Story of the season, man. We get this ball off the crossbar, and then they get a no-look header chipped on, and we go home. Now Copa Tejas is, out of our hands. We don't control our own destiny, which always sucks. Obviously, the implications with the playoffs, where we're at in the table, we're ninth now. So that gets you the play-in game, right?
Yeah, that would be a road play-in match. Let's check on Seattle and Minnesota. Ends in a draw there. So yes, Austin still sitting in ninth to close out the weekend, but Minnesota a game in hand on Austin FC. So right now Austin holds the tiebreaker for having more wins on the year, 9-8. But again, Loons with that game in hand. So points per game, Austin's certainly out of the playoff picture at this moment. But still 9 matches to play. So still got everything to play for here.
Absolutely. Still a lot left on the table. We got to finish our dinner. 9 games. It has been a hellacious season with some crazy highs and some crazy lows and some crazy stories and some trades. And it has been a brutal season for these players. I know for the fan base, it's been really difficult and challenging. But we still got 9 games left. We are still in the thick of it. And then you look at the rest of that Western Conference, and those teams that are, past Minnesota have a very challenging road to be relevant in this little race that we're in. Sporting Kansas City has a difficult schedule to close this out. Portland, obviously, without their coach now. Galaxy just too far behind. So we're still right there. The game in hand does concern me a little bit when you look around the other teams that surround us, your Vancouvers, your FC Dallases, and your Minnesota. But we have a game in hand on SKC. So we're right there. Leo's coming back. Obviously, we're going to be in for a dogfight here on Wednesday. Seba being healthy is good news. No Dani. Going to have to adjust. Excited to see Owen and Alex together. I think that's going to be another good pairing and to get Owen out of that attacking position. So, we're in the thick of it. Again, you got to bounce back. It's over. The game is over. You got to move on.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I think looking at those bottom of the table teams right now, your SKC, your Portland, your Galaxy, 2 games in hand on us, like 3 games in hand on SKC. Like if they played their 2 before we played, right, and they won both, they would be a point back of us. So I think they are actually, to me, they're the biggest threat of those bottom 4 teams. Obviously, Colorado, certainly, I don't think we have any delusions that they're going to make a run. But, yeah, man, you got to start stringing together some points, and I think you have to win one of these next 2 games, Seattle on Wednesday and New England on the road on Saturday. Obviously, if you were able to somehow win both, you're flying high, but 3 points getting to 35 here after these 2, heading into another break. We have that week off in between New England and Portland at home, I believe. Got to get a result, man.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the Galaxy schedule, too. They have a really tough schedule coming up. They got San Jose, Houston, St. Louis City, LAFC, Minnesota. Then they come and spicy game. You need points here. You got to get points. If we had gotten a point last night, you would have been feeling pretty good about where we're sitting. Copa Tejas champions with these 2 games coming up where you can kind of give yourself a little bit of a breathing room. But Wednesday is going to be interesting. We were watching that Seattle game pretty closely, particularly to see who played, how much they played, and how that could potentially impact who plays on Wednesday. So we'll see here.
Well, closing out this one, 61% possession for Dallas in the end. A lot of that comes from the red card. I believe just checking on the stats as we went there, the possession was relatively even until that point. 11 shots to 10 in favor of Dallas, 5 shots on target to 2 in favor of Dallas. 6 of Austin's 10 shot attempts came inside the box. At the end of the night, on FOTMob's model, 0.65 XG for Dallas to 0.56 for Austin. So a boring game. at the end of the day.
It was a rivalry game. You knew it was going to be, it was going to be gritty and grind it out. And that XG seems on par with what we watched last night.
So one last thing I wanted to touch on, I guess we can do press conference here first. Just a couple quotes from Josh. He said, it's frustrating. The guys deserved much more out of that. If either team deserved points, it was us. We had control of the game. Even down a man, we didn't give up a whole lot. The guys' character, the grit, and the grind, we gave up very little and deserved to take points. But that's what this game is. It's cruel. I agree, especially like the point I agree with most, I think, from Josh last night, outside of what he said about Dani, was that the guys battled and that he was proud of the guys' effort, and not just in the vacuum of this game, but bouncing back from the disaster that was last weekend. Obviously, you don't bounce back with the result. We brought home no points, but I think to his point, the character the guy showed, especially going down a man there and literally a whisper away from a point, and the fans lifting the trophy there right outside the gate. So like you said, it's cruel, man. It's a cruel game.
It truly is. And look, despite the result, those dudes fought that whole game. And sometimes you get a buzzer beater on your head.
Yeah, he said that's what this game is, man. It's euphoric and heart-wrenching at the same time. I'm sure there were times last year when we snatched victory in some difficult moments. The guys deserve more. I'm gutted for them and the fans. Great numbers, as always, here in Dallas. We would have loved to have gotten the draw and claimed Copa Tejas. And then talking about Dani, he just chopped this quote off here because I think he said it all in the first 5 seconds. He says he has to show more maturity, more calm in the situation. He knows he's on a yellow. We can't argue it. Like, it's a yellow.
You just cannot do it. And I've said that 55 times for stuff that Dani's done.
Yeah. Matt Hedges was the player in the media availability post-match. He did drop an F-bomb. So you don't always see that on the recording.
Well, look, that was my quote for this episode.
Yeah, fuck. Well, okay, so I want to ask you this, because clearly I am, and still even after my therapy yelling session there a couple minutes ago, was juiced up about the red card takes and the substitution patterns with the injuries and all that. But that was not the only thing that the fan base was fired up about post-match. Matt Hedges did a jersey swap. I did not see with whom, but again, returning to his longtime home, I think 11 years there in Dallas as the captain. He walked off with the jersey on. We've seen guys carry jerseys in hand, flip them inside out. Hani Mukhtar, I think, did that with Seba last year at our place. What are your thoughts on that? Like, does that upset you? Is that something he should have maybe done differently, considering the circumstances? Did you have any thoughts on the Hedges wearing the Dallas jersey off the field? Because I certainly am not going to push back nearly as strong on anybody saying they had an issue with that as I did with the other takes that I didn't like. But I don't know. I think it didn't bother me too much, but I can see why people don't like it.
Yeah, I can see why people don't. I just thought it was weird that jersey was probably gross.
Like, yeah, right.
I wouldn't want to put. That's a good point. That was the only thing that I was like, all right, that's kind of strange because it's fucking gross.
Yeah.
I was much concerned with losing 1-0 than I was Matt Hedges walking off the field in a jersey for a team that he played, 10 years. How long was he there for?
I thought it was 11, I think.
Yeah,
but
just for a long fucking time as he was there. So no, if people are upset about that, that's fine with me. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's got a Roger Stone tattoo he's trying to cover up. Maybe that's why he's putting that jersey on before he goes off the field. I don't know.
They're all, I don't know. It's just weird to wear someone's jersey like that. Like,
I think
I'll hear somebody just put it on. Like,
yeah.
Toss it over the shoulder, tuck her in.
Yeah. So I get that. I don't think to me at least, there was no doubt in my mind that Matt Hedges was battling for us as hard as he could, the full 90 plus. So anyways, let's move on. Let's talk a little Seattle, huh? Because they're coming to town on Wednesday, our long-awaited return to Q2 Stadium. And look, as disappointed as I still feel about last night, and my exhaustion from getting in late and getting up this morning to watch FIBA World Cup basketball, I'm getting juiced, man, for Wednesday to be back at Q2, our soccer church with all our friends. But Seattle certainly not going to be an easy team to dispatch here. They are coming in on some tough or a tough run of form, I should say. They obviously drew Minnesota this afternoon. They did lose to Atlanta United at home last week. And then, of course, bowed out in the group stage in really poor form in the Leagues Cup. And coming into Leagues Cup, they had drawn with Dallas at home and lost to San Jose on the road. So this is a Sounders team that has not won a match since July 9th. They are only averaging 1.15 goals per match this season. But this is a team that can, as they typically do there in Seattle, finding a way to get it done, even with another season that's not really up to their standards as a franchise over time. They're sitting in third here, even after the draw today on 37 points. Obviously the history between these two teams, not super great for Austin, right? In that first season, I had said for a while that draw up there was, one of my favorite draws. I think my favorite draw ever. Don't really have a favorite draw, but that was it until this year when we got the win up there, without Seba. And I think we had like 2 minutes of Diego in that match. But we had the home draw from last year where we had the Diego equalizer, which was an exciting match, but I think we could have gotten more from it. Of course, the teenager game with the Ruidaz 40-yard goal from 2021. So, not a great track record here against Seattle, but looking to sweep the season series here at home. We know about them, the guys, the talent that they bring to the pitch game in and game out. Jordan Morris started on fire this season, but he has, I think, cooled off would be putting it nicely. He's still sitting on 9 goals, which I think he was sitting on in like mid-April. Leo Chu leading them. And this is not, let me pull up the MLS stats here, because when I'm looking at FOTMob, they do not give us, of course, the hockey assists there. So I made a couple, saying Jared Stroud was leading St. Louis, etc. a few weeks ago. We've got Leo Chu sitting on 3 goals, 8 assists. So he is actually leading them in goal contributions right now. Raul Ruidíaz has been limited to just 16 appearances this year and only 9 starts. They've had guys who were missing for long stretches during international breaks, Gold Cup and the like. And you've only got 1 goal from a guy like Nico Ladero this year. He's actually, now that I look all the way down, because I have it sorted by goals here, he's got 9 assists. So he's leading them in assists, but Leo Chu's still leading in contributions. This is a team, though, that has been up and down all year. It's still going to be super hot in Austin, and I think it doesn't hurt us that they have 1 less day of rest coming in here. Taking a look at what they did today lineup-wise, it looked like they pretty much ran out their first choice lineup here. You had Ruidíaz get the start. He played 87 minutes. Nico Ladero picked up an assist on the Seattle goal. He played 71. Albert Rusnak played 90. Jordan Morris played 90. Joao Paulo played 90. Roldan, Yamar, Reagan, Nuhu. I mean, they played all their guys pretty much the entire game here. Only 1 substitution that played more than 3 minutes for Seattle. So I think in that sense, that's a good thing for us, given no Dani and some guys that were super fatigued at the end of last night. I guess let's talk about us here, unless you have anything else to add on them.
Yeah. The first game we played them was probably our cruel game to another team, because they thoroughly played us. They were much better than us on that night, and we walked away with 3 points. And then you look at their roster; they're a bit older. Ruidíaz, Roldan, Lodero, João Paulo are all older guys. And that fact that they ran all those dudes 90, well, not all of them, but a significant portion of them 90 is interesting to me. They have shown they're not afraid to bring their fucking academy team into our stadium. So it's not off the table there. And again, they've been up and down all season too. And, we had Bogart on last week. He just said that this Western Conference playoff race is going to be a bloodbath till the end. They have a game in hand on us, and we're 5 points behind. So, again, this is a game that we can get. And with no Dani, we're going to need a little extra help, a little extra juice. And we might have just gotten that in regard to who they played in this matchup versus Minnesota, and the fact that it was 24 hours later than our last game.
Yeah. Well, and looking at what they have coming up too, they go back home next Saturday to host Portland. Huge rivalry match that they will certainly be looking ahead to. Not saying they're going to overlook Austin, but I think out of their 3 games in this 7-day span, the Austin match is the one that you would probably rotate, right? If you're
this is the one you would have circled.
Yeah.
This is definitely one, given all of the components of your upcoming schedule, who you have to look forward to, and then the aspect of it's going to be 139,000 degrees.
Yeah. I mean, if we see some heavy rotation from them, you got to take it. We have to take advantage of it here, especially going out to New England, which is not going to be an easy match. Georgi Petrovic or no, coming on Saturday. Obviously, we'll preview that match on Thursday's episode. Let's talk about us here.
Okay.
Obviously, no Dani, as we know. I think we were talking about this in the stands last night when Will Bruin came in before Giassi. I think we get Giassi's artist starting on Wednesday and probably playing at least 60. I think maybe you can stretch him a little bit longer since he got, 12 minutes last night, including the stoppage time run. I think regardless, you're going to see Giassi up top. I imagine, you and I certainly had some concerns on the way home last night about the availability of Seba, given, how we saw him come off. We thought he was, kind of nursing that groin a little bit. But if he's good to go, obviously he's going to be out there. What are your thoughts on the rest of this attack? I guess, starting with the wing. Obviously, we think that Emi Rigoni was still on that 60-minute limit, and Ethan Finley has been busting his balls the entire season on that right side there. Do you think we get some rotation on the wings? Because I guess I can start. I don't think I'm surprised if I see Memo in there for Emi on the left.
I say do it.
Okay.
I say start Memo. Again, Rigoni just has not done anything to be like, yes, I am the starter. I start. And you rotate when I need it. So I'm fine with getting Memo in there. And again, looking at the very dim bright spots from last night, I thought he played really well, particularly on the defensive side of the ball when we made the adjustments to being less attacking. But yeah, I'm totally fine with Memo getting the start. I've been encouraged with his play in both games. And if we got to keep trying different shit to get some goal chances created, fucking do it. So yeah, I think probably G at the top there. Healthy Seba, he's got to go. He's got to play. I know he's doing a lot. I know he's got to be worn down at this point with everything we ask him to do. But it 9 games, baby. We got to close this out. So Memo on the left, Finley again, step up on the right. You going to be shocked if we see a Leo start here?
I think I would be shocked, yeah. Because I think if you're starting Leo, and I guess the last thing I want to say on the front, I don't care if Emi starts or Memo or Finley, whomever. I don't think we're getting 90 out of Emi. And again, none of them have really elevated over one another.
You want me to start scoring?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. I mean, I think we see Julio and Hedges again, because if you're going to give Leo the start, you're playing him at least a half then, right? And I don't know. I don't think I have confidence in saying that he's ready for 45 minutes yet. I do think we see him almost without a doubt in my mind that he will come off the bench and provide us some relief to either Julio or Matt Hedges with the other game coming up on Saturday in New England.
I mean, so no Dani means obviously you're getting Alex and Owen in the middle, which means that if Leo's not like good to go, you gotta have Kippy.
Does it mean you have to have Owen in there though? Because can't we go Johan and Alex? I'm not saying that's what I want necessarily, but
yeah, same concept, I suppose, with the Memo Rigoni debate.
Sure.
Whatever we want to do here that they feel better about during practice, or they're trying to work, whatever it is, I'm okay with it. Again, Owen could be a rotation guy going forward. So, it's just gonna. I mean, it really comes down to what Seattle's gonna bring and who they're gonna play to me. And then no Lundqvist for me, man. Lima. He was pretty much, not really existent last night outside of the one shot he had there, but it's still him for me. I just feel way better when it's Nicky, just way better.
Yeah, I think everybody at this point feels better when it's Lima and Gallagher. I haven't seen anybody clamoring for Adam to get starts here.
Yeah,
both those guys did play 90 though last night, so like there's going to be fullback rotation this week, but again, I think you got to try to get the 3 at home, and then we're playing with house money's a little bit of a strong term given where our situation in the standings, but the home match is the one that I think clearly you try to focus on here.
Yeah, I agree.
So I mean, midfield, who knows, man? Like if it's Owen and Alex, great. If it's Johan and Alex, I think I feel a little bit better with Owen and Alex, but Johan would certainly provide that defensive pairing with Alex where we feel certainly really stout in the back half of the 11 there if both of those guys are out there at the same time. But
as long as it's Alex +1.
Yes, I agree.
As long as it's Alex +1, I'm fine.
I agree. Especially because, I don't think we're going to see Alex go out there and play 90 minutes either because I think he's still working his way up to that 90-minute fitness. So it'll be interesting to see that lineup when it comes out on Wednesday. And I'm not sure if we're going to get a press availability or not. I imagine that would be Tuesday, if anything. So we'll certainly keep our eyes on that. One thing left to do here, E. We're going back to Q2 Stadium finally on Wednesday. How much is Austin FC beating Seattle by?
3-0.
Ooh, wow. Where's that coming from?
My ass.
Yeah, I was going to say the deep bungus there.
Pulled that from the deep one. Yeah, fuck it. After what we went through last night, fuck it. Give it to me. Get the first one, and then let's take out some frustration on some Pacific Northwestern teenagers.
Well, I would love to see that. I'm not reaching so far up my butthole for this one, but give me 2-1 Austin. Tough to predict a clean sheet for me right now, but again, I do think we're going to create some more chances here. We're going to take advantage of the weather. And I think we get 3 points here, man. As you know, I don't think we're going to see a ton of win predictions here around the Austin FC space. I don't think, man. I don't think we're going to see a ton of.
I'm saying, I thought you meant me. I was like,
oh no. You're getting win predictions
here. This is the tree that I live in.
But yeah, man, we'll see. And again, just excited to be back at home. Let's see those Verde lights turn on a few times.
Let me say this.
Sure.
Part of the reaching for that prediction there is the context that we just got provided in regard to who they played, how much they played, and who's coming up on their schedule.
Yeah, so for sure.
That is a big component there.
It's a well-informed take.
Yeah, the rest of it is speculation.
All right, everybody. We hope to see you at Q2 on Wednesday. Let's do a real quick last business day here because Austin FC 2 was back in action at the pitch on Friday. Sporting KC 2 coming to town. And I guess first, let me not skip over the lineup reactions here because we certainly had some. Obviously, we mentioned earlier, Kip Keller got the start somewhat surprisingly there. David Rodriguez was back on the bench, but Charlie Asensio went missing again. And Eric Lopez, Landon told us that apparently Eric Lopez was in the stands there. Neither of us able to make it out to that match, but going to be there this coming Friday. So Spencer Sanderson was the backup keeper for a second straight game. Rest of the lineup pretty standard here. Pinot, Val, EJ, Bobo, Micah, Alonzo. And then you had that kind of not original back four because obviously Charlie was on the left originally there, but Check, Sally Maz, Kip, and Captain Joe. This one in the first half, to be honest, was pretty boring. And man, I think if this was the first team, you would have some people. I mean, I probably would have been sitting there complaining about the horseshoe because a lot of Austin possession, but not a ton of chances. SKC really, I wouldn't say bunkering, but playing cautiously and conservatively there in the first half and being physical. 3 SKC yellow cards in the first half hour of this one. And then they did make some changes there at half, a triple sub for SKC2 at the half. But right away, it doesn't pay off for them. It pays off for Austin. Austin wins a corner, and Czech takes it there on the left side and whips it in, finds a flying Sal Mazzaferro, who heads it kind of like off the crossbar and then I think off the post as well and in. So a friendly bounce there for sure, but there was a lot of velocity on that header from Sal. And then he collides with an SKC defender and I think like tweaked his neck a little bit and went down. So there was like no celebration for the goal, but the goal counted, and Sal was ultimately fine. So love to see it, man. I think that's his 3rd on the year.
Yeah, flying Sally Maz.
Yeah, but man, 10 minutes after that, just a 1-2 punch here from SKC. Lucas Rosa, who was the Pitt Panther connection there with Val and our ex-player Jackson Faulty. He was one of the 3 that came in at the half. And he got a goal off what was a pretty nice SKC buildup, just kind of slicing through the middle of our defense, which you do not see a ton. I forget the player who I think it was Hernandez who assisted him.
Yep.
Got the pass on the right, kind of laid it off for Rosa, and that was just a strike. I don't know, not much Damien could do on that one. But then 4 minutes later, SKC wins a corner, and the service is short, but to Chandrit, who had cut right across the face of Val Noel, and like from the broadcast angle, it's a tough angle to score at, like almost in the realm of like Rodney Redis against New Mexico, kind of like almost that blind header. Yeah. But that flick from Tashandret goes just past Damien. Like it was in the perfect spot. Not much our keeper could do about that one. I'm not sure if you need to, kind of prevent that cut from Tashandret and getting free right there. I imagine so. But I think at the end of the day, it was also just a little bit of luck and some skill involved there. And SKC goes up 2-1. First time in club history, Austin FC has conceded multiple goals at home, and just the 3rd time this season that we've seen 2 or more goals put up on Austin. I believe 2 at Houston, and then, of course, the 3-3 draw at Colorado. The only times that we've conceded multiple goals this season. So, of course, still, and of course, there's many changes here. You get Cristo Vela come on, Steve comes on for EJ and Alonso Ramirez. You get David coming in for 10 minutes plus stoppage at the end, like for like AOC and Pinot, and then Anthony DeAnder for Kip Keller to try to get, just some more mobile guys up there into the attacking half, but just not able to put one away. And I think, to be honest, man, we know SKC2 is a good quality team in this league. I think those guys came in here and won that game. I didn't get the feeling watching it that we really did a ton to lose. I think they kind of came in and grabbed those 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the stats, it's 70-30 possession for Austin, and you brought up the horseshoe and stuff and non-threatening stuff. But yeah, it was an interesting game given the track record of both of those teams. You get Kip there in the defensive lineup, and we give up 2 goals for the first time in club history at home to a team that, was giving up all kinds of goals. We only get that one early, and it's a tough one. And this Austin FC2 club has fallen on some difficult and challenging times here in this stretch run that we were getting really excited about with Colorado. So they seem pretty clear to be the 1 seed going into these playoffs. But the 2's up. We're holding there firm, and we just got to close this out strong as well. Well, actually, tied with Tacoma now, 46 piece.
Yep. So still sitting ahead of Tacoma. One more win for Austin FC2, and of course ahead on goal differential as well. But things getting tight there for the race for the 2 seed. Obviously, we want to get that 2 seed as the one pretty much out of reach at this point. But you get, choose your own opponent. You get home field in the first 2 rounds with that 2 seed. So 4 games left to clinch. Austin FC 2 back in action against LAFC 2 this coming Friday. We will preview that match on Thursday's episode and see everybody out there at the pitch. But what I wanted to do right now, Austin FC 2 can clinch a playoff spot, kind of back into it for lack of a better term here on Sunday evening with St. Louis City 2, who I believe is taking on San Jose 2. San Jose is up 1-0 at the half right now. So if that result holds, Austin FC 2 would clinch a playoff spot here in the first season. So we'll keep an eye on that here after we finish recording the pod. And then hopefully, next week, get 3 points and continue the march towards the 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's close out the pod here with the bets. We are back for best ball. Haven't calculated all the scores yet, given Minnesota and Seattle playing when we started recording. So we'll do a little best ball dump on Thursday, couple weeks of scores to get in the books there. I know we can say this. We are Austin TV with a massive week last week on MLS's return. So we'll get those out here in the next couple days and talk about it on Thursday's episode. Let's close it out with the betting picks here. Week 28, not bad. We do miss, of course, on Austin plus 245. Driussi's number came in at plus 320. And, of course, that doesn't come through, but I'm taking that every game. I don't care who we're playing. RSL minus 130. Aren't you glad you talked me out of Houston plus 310?
Yes, I am.
LAFC plus 130. They take an L on the East Coast to Charlotte. But we did get 4 hits here. Cincy minus 140. That was a 2-unit hammer. They come through with the win at home. Miami plus 145. Messi off the bench. Second goal for good measure there, taking out Red Bulls. Galaxy, no Diego, no problem. Minus 110, that comes through. And then Philly plus 175. Union taking care of business against the Runes. That's plus 1.54 units on the week. We're back to negative 30.59 units here. So let's see if we can get under that number here in week 29. I'll toss it to you first. Where are we going here for the midweek picks?
Mooch just got up, so I might need you to go first.
Okay. Well, give it a little shake there, Muchijite, and I'll just do the easy one here. Because Seattle was playing, there were no odds up yet for Austin and Seattle. I will check right now to see if those have popped since. I don't see them quite yet, but I'm going to take Austin to win no matter the odds. Don't tell me the odds, E. I'm picking our boys to win here on Wednesday.
Let's do it, baby. I look, I'm full narrative week here with my picks. I'm going all beneficial Austin results and a nice little Philly hammer. So first bet, Los Angeles Galaxy plus 255 at San Jose. Do us a favor, Diego. I know things aren't the best between us, but you can show us a little love, get a win.
Yeah. Get a win. And I mean, that gets them a little bit closer to the playoff line, too.
Win-win, baby.
Mutually beneficial.
Win-win-win. Win-win-win. They're coveted. Triple win.
Fuck. Austin FC hasn't had a win-win-win, and I don't know how long. I'm going back to the same little combo here. Obviously, no Seba to score odds, but we know that he's healthy and expected to play on Wednesday. So I'm going to take Seba to score. No odds yet. I imagine at home those are going to probably come in around 150 to 180 or something like that. But we'll see when they pop here in the next day or so. And, of course, have that posted. Where are you going next?
I'm going Columbus, traveling down to Houston. Get them at plus 210, a difficult place to play. Look, y'all, I told you what these picks are. These are narrative picks. They're not necessarily based on deep analytical research and insight. So Columbus plus 210, a dangerous team. You know how I feel about Nagby. Obviously, Cucho's our boy. So I think they can pull it out. Yeah. Houston's been getting some interesting results. Just beat the shit out of my RSL boys twice in a row.
These motherfuckers are in a final, man. Like, as much shit as we talk about Houston, as much shit as we talk about them, like, they're in a fucking final, and I am jealous. I'm jealous.
I don't think there's much to be jealous of losing to Messi and getting as many cups as we did.
Be careful, man. Just be careful. Be careful. They might beat him. Who knows? They might beat them. You never know.
Yeah, that could happen.
All right, I'm going Vancouver here on the road at Chicago. This is also somewhat of another narrative pick here because if Vancouver wins, we don't want that for the standings in terms of our favorite team. So if they do win, I'll take the units. So Vancouver plus 195 here against a bad Chicago team. And I think we're pretty satisfied with any result that comes out of this one. So I'll lock that in.
Nice. I am busting out the hammer for Philly, getting them at plus 110 at Toronto. So yeah, can't really pass on that. Nobody happy up there in Toronto. So let's capitalize.
Do you see Insigne? I think had another bitch fit at the new coach now. He's just trying to get out of here, man.
No, he wants out of Canada. Right? Come down to Austin.
No, fuck that. I'm bringing that circus here. No, I ain't doing it. I don't want it. I don't want it.
You don't want Lorenzo Insigne?
No. Not with the way he's conducted himself up there. And he's been playing. Can't do shit. Ain't winning.
All right.
Fuck him.
Fair.
All right, let me close out my picks here, E. This is a team we will see on Saturday. So I think they get a win here at home versus New York Red Bulls. I'm going to take the Revolution minus 110 at home against Red Bull. That'll wrap up my picks. I know you got one more here.
One more for the people. Another narrative bet here. St. Louis City hosting Dallas. Get them at minus 135. Lock her in.
Yeah, going to that perfect bet to close things out here. So he's got St. Louis minus 135 hosting Dallas. He's got the 2-unit hammer on Philly plus 110 at Toronto. Galaxy plus 255 at San Jose. And Columbus plus 210 at the Dynamo. I've got Austin to win, Driussi to score. No odds on those yet. Vancouver plus 195 at Chicago. And the Revs minus 110 hosting Red Bulls. Those are the Week 29 betting picks. And that will wrap up episode 85 of the North End podcast. Anything else for you, E, before we get out of here?
To the Verde fam, to the fans, tough one, y'all. I know we're all gutted. We're back Wednesday. We're back home. And hopefully we can finish out this thing strong. Turn this ship around right now. So take care of yourselves. Stay hydrated.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Bob Barker. Get your pets chopping their shit off.
99 years old for old Bob Barker there.
Yeah.
If you're still with us, everybody, and you've got 5 extra seconds to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, help us grow the pod, and you can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, on this episode, hit that thumbs up button, like the video, help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords, atone for your sins, wash yourselves clean in the waters of the North End. We will be back on Thursday recapping Austin FC's game against Seattle, previewing the match this weekend against the Revs, and previewing Austin FC 2's match against LAFC 2, and of course all the other nonsense that comes with the North End. Enjoy to the best of your ability. Enjoy the beginning of your weeks, everybody. We will do the same, and we'll see all of you at Q2 on Wednesday. Until then, he's E. I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.